Hello everybody, it's me again, and this is my fourth speech for the, This is my fourth speech for the Ron Paul curriculum's speech class. And today's assignment was just to talk about something that I knew a lot about, and something I know a lot about, in case you couldn't tell from the shirt, is Zelda. Okay, so the person who made The Legend of Zelda, the series for Nintendo, was Shigeru Miyamoto, and he lived, obviously as you can tell by the name, he lived in Japan, and he lived with his family in a little house by a forest. And one of his favorite things to do when he was little was to explore. So he would run through the house, like open all the doors, look in all the closets, look for all kinds of like little treasures that he might be able to find. And he'd also like explore the forest, he'd go into little caves here and there, and then one time while he was exploring, he found this big cave, this huge cave that he'd never found before. He looked at it, and one part of him said, I want to go in there. The other part of him said, I don't know what is in there, so it's not too safe of an idea. So he would regularly come to that cave, look at the entrance, and just kind of stare at it for a second, going, oh, I kind of want to go in there, but I'm a little nervous about going in there. I'm too afraid to go in there. It's dark. Who knows how far down in there? Who knows how many twists and turns there could be? And finally, he decided, you know what? I'm going to go get my lantern, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to explore that cave. I'm going to go all the way to the back, and then I'm going to come all the way back out to the front, and I'm going to be fine. So he went to go get his lantern, he went into the cave, he looked around, there was nothing in there from all the sources that I found, it was just a cave, a bunch of rocks, maybe some bat poop. Anyway, so he comes back from the cave, and that stuck with him as he got older, and as he got older, he began to work for this company called Nintendo. And Nintendo didn't start making video games right away, they actually started making like trading cards, like kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of that sort of thing, like they made like game cards. And then eventually they were like, oh hey, this whole video game thing seems to be like a good idea, let's make one. And Shigeru Miyamoto and a bunch of the other people that worked there at Nintendo all started making games like Mario and Metroid and games like those, and Pokemon and Animal Crossing, but one of the earlier games that they made was The Legend of Zelda, and he wanted to incorporate his exploration from when he was little into that game series, and thusly the first one was made in 1985, I want to say is when the first game was made. I might be wrong, I can't remember the date specifically, but the first game was made, and it was replaced, and it was put on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original Nintendo Entertainment System, with like the really simple little controller that's really cute and I like playing with. Anyway, so that was the first one. It was an open world, you could save wherever you wanted to, and you didn't even have to have the sword. When you first spawned into the game, there was like a tree up here, and there was an old man in it, and you'd say the famous line, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. And then he'd give you a sword. You didn't have to go into that tree. You could go out and just wait until you found like the boomerang or something. You weren't exactly required to take that sword. You could instantly just leave if you wanted to. But it was recommended that you did take the sword. And The Legend of Zelda, the original game, was received very well. And Nintendo, being a smart company, were like, oh hey, let's make more. Let's make so many more games. So they made Link's Adventure, which was relatively well received. It was, instead of an open world, little Link on tiny little trees, where it's like each tile was a certain terrain, you know, like how in like RPG makers now, where it's like in Final Fantasy, like when you're walking around and it's like the people are as tall as the mountains. It's like, it was like that back then. But then Link's Adventure, the second game, was a side scroller. He was taller. He already had the sword with him, and again, that game was relatively well received. The hitboxes were weird. It was kind of sort of clunky, but people received it well. Now it's regarded as one of the most difficult games of all time in the Zelda series. And I didn't get introduced to this series until I was maybe 6 or 7. I can't remember when it was specifically, but it was like a few years after we got it was like a year after we got our Wii, and it came pre-downloaded with all these games. And one of them was this game called The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which was made in 2006 for the Wii and the GameCube, and I did not know what Zelda was. I had very limited knowledge of what Mario was. Frankly, I didn't know a lot about video games. But anyway, I found this game. I was like, oh, hey, this looks cool. There's a hero in it. There's a princess in it. I'm a big fan of Disney, so that means I like princesses. She's going to be in the pretty dress and everything. Boy, was I wrong. Twilight Princess, now that I know, is actually known as one of the darkest Zelda games that has ever been made. Not just in the fact of its subject matter, but also in terms of color scheme. And I played this game, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. But then, like, if you've played the game, you know that, like, the kid runs away in the beginning. I turned into a nervous wreck when that happened. It eventually turned into me playing video games. But from that to, Dad, come here, play this video game while I watch you and tell you what to do. And there was a lot of arguing during that. But eventually, when I was older, I think I was like 11 when I finally finished this game. And I had so much fun, and I went on to play other games like Skyward Sword, and like I've been playing Link's Awakening. I'm playing older games, I'm playing the newer ones. I'm excited for Breath of the Wild, it's gonna be cool. And anyway, like, I'm just kind of a nerd about Zelda, and if maybe when I'm older, I'll probably start my own channel where I kind of talk about personal things, like this kind of thing. So that's all I have to say. It was nice seeing you guys again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and tune in a few days for the next video. Till then, bye!